athlete with the one-track mind.
I had a purpose in life. I knew I wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to be rich.
You've all seen the glory. Deion saluting as he goes. But don't nobody know the story.
Deion Sanders was a man determined to escape the poverty of his past.
Somebody convinced him, hey, Deion, you can make a lot of money if you sell yourself, and that's exactly what he did.
Prime time.
Look at me.
As prime time, Deion got everything he wanted, both on and off the field.
My thing was having sex with many women. You know, I didn't discriminate.
He would call and say, hey, man, what you doing? I said, nothing. He said, well, I'm taking a bath. Y'all say hi, you know, and I need a permission slip from Deion to tell y'all some of the things.
But Deion's fame came with a price.
Fame works two ways. I'll pay you and you pay me. You are a real man, Deion, I'll say that.
We don't just tolerate, we celebrate people for acting like egotistical, obnoxious horses' asses.
Primetime was slowly killing Deion Sanders.
Wild ways cost him his wife, his children, and his will to live.
I got in that car and drove off that cliff and got to the bottom of that fall off and was still alive. And I'm like, Lord, you saved me. And that was something.
Now he's found a higher power.
This is a man who has everything. Contemplating, is tomorrow worth it?
I'm a blessed woman to say that I have a very God-fearing man, and he's walking in the way in which God called him to, and I support that wholeheartedly.
This is Deion Sanders, Beyond the Glory.
Hallelujah!
Absolutely outstanding.
I concluded that he bet on baseball.
Do you have anything to say to your fans?
To millions of fans, Deion is a swaggering Superman who thrives in the spotlight. He's captivated fans with dazzling catches, clutch hits, and open field dashes.
Could be intercepted, and it is by Deion Sanders.
Sanders just went hard to right field, way back into the right field seats.
And he's done it all in brash, high-stepping style. But along the road to fame and fortune, Deion's dreams turned into nightmares.
The night we won the Super Bowl in San Francisco, I was the first one out of the locker room, the first one home, the first one to bed. And I said, it ain't what I thought it was. Yeah, I'm not even happy.
Despite 2 Super Bowl trophies and millions in the bank, Deion was on the brink of suicide.
You got women everywhere, you still ain't happy. You got clothes galore, you still ain't happy. You got everything you wanted, but you're still not happy.
In the spring of '97, on a dark Ohio road, Deion was driving on a suicide mission, wondering what people would say about him when he was gone.
I got on my knees and said, Lord, if you take me, please take me right now. I can't go no farther. Lord, just take me.
Deion Sanders grew up living with his mother and sister in a public housing project in Fort Myers, Florida. A neighborhood so riddled with crime, it came with its own jail.
The police decided to put a police substation right inside the project so they could take him to jail right there in the project. And they put barbed wire all around. It's sort of like a prison.
Deion saw the pain and misery of the projects from close range. His father, Daddy Buck, who left the family when Deion was a child, was frequently unemployed and addicted to drugs.
My biological father, Daddy Buck, he used drugs. I've seen him with needles, people in his room shooting up, and those are the reasons why I've never chosen to drink or smoke in the entirety of my life.
Many nights, you know, we lay up in the bed and we talk, you know, and I explain to him, you know, that your dad is gone, but I'm here for you. A lot of times we cry, but we made it.
The Huxtable's unreal. You know, in African-American families, really, I don't know anyone whose father is a doctor, the mother's a lawyer. We didn't grow up like that.
With his father gone, Deion's mother, Connie, took work cooking and cleaning in a local hospital to hold the family together.
I had to work 2 jobs in order to make it, you know, because I was a single parent.
My mother, she served as everything. She was all that in a bag of chips.
When you work hard like that, it's very hard on the kids, too. Because you see your children, but not like you want to see them.
He grew up fast because he had to learn to stay by himself.
Left on his own after school, Deion soon found trouble. When he was 7, he had his first run-in with the police.
You know, a child is going to throw rocks. And I could throw a rock. I could throw a rock like a skeet shooter.
It was an old house in the graveyard, abandoned house.
I was throwing rocks, and I was winning, breaking all the windows, and someone called the police.
They was telling me that they had Deion at the police station. I said, mine? My Deion? I said, yes, Deion Sanders.
Deion's mom wanted to teach her young son a lesson he wouldn't forget. She told the police to keep him.
By the time I got there, all the other parents had picked their sons up. Deion was the only one left. And he, looking with his big eyes, he said, Ma, I thought you had forgotten me.
My mama belt should be in the Hall of Fame from that day.
Determined to keep her young son off the streets, Connie enrolled 9-year-old Deion in Pop Warner football.
When he came on my football team, he only weighed about 85 pounds. He had skinny little legs, but he could run like a deer.
For Deion, football wasn't just a game. It was a chance to escape the projects. Pop Warner coach David Capel was determined to help.
I think a lot of his drive came from where he grew up, knowing that where he lived, and if he continued, because most of his friends were in jail from selling drugs.
High peer pressure really was having weight around your neck, flossing, you know, having car with the boom and having the nice threads. That was high peer pressure.
I explained to Deion back there that these kids will be out selling it, or you could be out selling it to make extra money. You don't want to get involved in it all, because if you do, you're going to end up in jail.
With Deion playing Pop Warner football, his father, Daddy Buck, took a selfish interest in his son's games. Deion was only 10.
So Daddy Buck would come and bet on the game, especially when we played against our rivals. They'd come in there, baby, betting on Pop Warner football. Baby boy, I need 3 out you today. I got about 100 laying on the line. And I used to sit up there, you know, but I would deliver.
By the time Deion entered North Fort Myers High School, he was starring in 3 sports: football, basketball, and baseball.
He played a sport every season, so he didn't have to go home and be around what was happening in his neighborhood.
As a high school quarterback, a young Deion proved himself as a runner, passer, and scrambler. On defense, as a safety, he made a career of getting between the receiver and the ball. Deion's reputation grew along with his dreams. After games, he would drive his mom past large houses on the rich side of town. He told her of his plans to use sports to build them both a better life.
My mother always took me outside my neighborhood so I could really see life. So I could say, Mom, we're going to have a house bigger than that one day.
He said, Mom, one of these days, I'm going to build you a house just like it. I said, yeah, right.
Deion soon had an opportunity to make his dreams come true. In 1985, as he graduated from high school, the Kansas City Royals offered him the quick road to riches, $75,000 to play minor league baseball. Deion was planning to go to college, but for a poor kid from the projects, it was a tempting offer. Coming up, the birth of primetime.
It was sort of like taking a bit of Ali and incorporating him into your life. And I think that's what I did.
And later, primetime takes matters into his own hands.
You are a real man, Deion, I'll say that.
As a poor kid from the projects, Deion Sanders had used school sports to steer clear of drugs and crime. Now at the age of 18, as he graduated high school, he was facing new temptations. The Kansas City Royals were offering him the quick road to riches, just as Florida State had offered Deion a free ride to college.
He thought if they can offer him $75,000, he could make even much more if he go to college.
I believe in me like no other. If you don't believe in yourself, ain't nobody else will.
And he said, Ma, I think I'm going on to school.
In the summer of 1985, Deion chose to attend Florida State. By the end of his first year, he was making a name for himself in 3 sports: football, baseball, and sometimes track.
Our track coach asked him, will you run in one of our meets? Oh, yeah, I'll run in one of your meets. So he goes over and runs in the meet and whips world-class sprinters.
Deion Sanders fields at the 11. 15 it is.
By his sophomore year, Deion had sealed his reputation as someone to watch. The ambitious 19-year-old wanted much more. So Deion created a character he felt would distinguish him from the rest of the pack: Prime Time.
Somebody convinced him, hey, Deion, you can make a lot of money if you sell yourself, and that's exactly what he did.
Stealing a page from the School of Corporate Marketing, Deion created a character and gave it a nickname. He began wearing gold chains and giant rings. Deion drove around campus in his new Chrysler convertible with personalized primetime license plates, talking on his cell phone, all courtesy of his hardworking mother, Connie. The top cornerback in college football hoped Primetime would help draw crowds and ticket sales, convincing big league scouts to write him big league checks.
He said, Ma, he said, cornerbacks isn't making any money. He said, I got to do something to make plenty of money. Because he used to always say a closed mouth is never fed. And he just created a monster.
But the Primetime monster was more than just clothing. Primetime was also an attitude. An attitude Deion created based on his 4 favorite sports idols.
Muhammad Ali, because I love his brashness, but he backed it up. Hank Aaron, for the way he endured those trials and tribulations and racism. O.J. Simpson, he was the juice. He took care of his linemen, who took care of him. Dr. J, Julius Erving, the constant professional, business life, but he had the flair for the dramatic.
He was thinking ahead. He said, I just can't intercept the ball and run out of bounds. I got to intercept it, and I got to high step. I got to throw the arms in there. I got to do something so that the attention is on me.
Fans went wild, and broadcasters couldn't get enough.
Sanders, like a jet across midfield. To the 40, still on his feet. This is why they call him Primetime.
Primetime is, the athlete who says it's time to put on the show. It's time to give my all, give the people all that they want.
In the stadium, everyone hollering Primetime. Primetime is, it's just outrageous. It's exciting.
On a lesser athlete, Primetime would have failed miserably, but Deion had the game to back up his bravado. In 1986, his 3rd year at Florida State, he became a college football All-American. The previous spring, he had led Florida State's baseball team into the College World Series. Professional scouts took notice. While only a junior in college, the New York Yankees paid Deion $75,000 to play 3 months of minor league baseball. Because Deion was still attending Florida State, it was his first taste of real money. And it changed the way he looked at things.
Or you look up there like it's 6 points. Touchdown over Deion. I look up there like it's $1 million.
But Deion's success was not limited to the playing field. In the summer of 1987, Primetime was taking on a life of its own. Women loved the character, including the woman he would fall in love with and eventually marry.
He had on all this jewelry and had his hat turned to the back. And he said, "You looking for me? Baby, you looking for me?" And I said, "Well, who are you?" He said, "I'm Primetime." I said, "Well, who is Primetime?"
Carolyn Chambers was a psychology major at nearby Florida A&M, and she soon learned who Primetime was.
He gave me his number, and I didn't call him the very next day. I waited a day. So when I called him, we spoke, and he came right over. And from that day he came over, we were together every day after that.
When his final college football season began, Deion became the team captain, leader, and mentor.
I had power amongst the team where they came to me with problems or with the drama in their life. When they needed some money, I kept $5,000 over at all times, and a little bankroll, and I always broke them off. And I worked my butt off, and I was very successful.
Deion's success became the Seminole success. He won the Jim Thorpe Award as the nation's best cornerback and led Florida State into the Sugar Bowl. On the final play, Deion intercepted a pass in the end zone, and the Seminoles won the game.
Kicked off by Deion with his name up in lights.
It was a storybook ending to his college football career, but the same could not be said of his scholastic career. After the game, Deion walked away from college without a diploma.
I think when it came right down to it, there were enough pro scouts that convinced him that he was going to be a very, very high choice, draft choice, and be a wealthy man.
The scouts were right. In the summer of 1988, Deion was drafted in the first round by the Atlanta Falcons and signed for more than $4 million. He was now the highest paid defensive back in NFL history. Though he lacked a diploma, he had graduated to the big leagues. Primetime was ready for his close-up. But Deion Sanders would never be the same.
Well, all right.
Coming up, Deion Sanders in the spotlight, developing a seven-figure attitude.
Back off.
It must be the money that's turning them on. Must be the money. I cannot go wrong.
And later, the walls come tumbling down.
I hadn't slept in 3 days. I hadn't eaten in 3 days, and I was just dwindling away.
You're watching Deion Sanders, Beyond the Glory. In 1985, as a high school football and baseball star, Deion Sanders refused offers to turn pro after he graduated, and instead went to Florida State to play college football.
What a return by Deion Sanders.
Now in the fall of 1989, Deion's investment in college was paying huge dividends. He had become one of America's first professional two-sport athletes.
I played 2 sports because I played 3 sports all my life. It was nothing different. I wasn't going to let America tell me, oh, you can only play 1 sport. I wasn't going to let people say, you could only do 1 thing.
He was making millions as the highest paid defensive player ever in the NFL, playing cornerback for the Atlanta Falcons. At the same time, Deion signed a deal making several $100,000 playing center field for the New York Yankees.
It was truly remarkable and admirable that he was able to be as good a baseball player as he was.
It was a great moment in my life to think that this world is set up where anybody could be successful.
With the money from his first Atlanta Falcons football paycheck, Deion made good on a high school promise to his mother. He bought her a house on the rich side of town.
It was exciting. All I could do was cry.
Then, Deion tried to help his father, Daddy Buck, pick up the pieces of his life.
I was making sure he was taken care of, nice clothes on his back, money in his pocket, bank account.
You know, no one wants their father on drugs, you know, so he wanted him clean.
Although not yet rapping professionally, Deion had recently grown friendly with another flamboyant entertainer, rapper MC Hammer. At Deion's request, Hammer agreed to hire Deion's father to work on his road crew.
All I wanted was an environment for him that kept him busy, that kept him happy.
Deion also started a family of his own. In 1990, after 2 years together, Deion's college sweetheart, Carolyn, gave birth to Deion's daughter, Deandra. Despite the demands of his two-sport schedule, Deion always found a way for the new family to be together.
We did everything together. We had never been apart. Even when Deandra was born, 2 days later, he told the doctor she had to come here. So Deandra was 2 days old, and we had to fly to New York when he was playing with the Yankees.
Deion took his primetime character with him to New York as well. And while Carolyn and Deandra were warmly received, Deion's alter ego was not.
You know, we had an older veteran club, and they weren't very receptive to a young guy like Deion coming in with his gold.
It didn't take long before primetime was getting Deion into trouble. During a Yankees-White Sox game in New York, primetime walked up to the plate, cleared an area in the batter's box, and drew an S with 2 lines in it, a $sign in the dirt. Hall of Fame catcher Carlton Fisk was outraged at Deion's crass commercialism and decided to draw a line of his own.
What's going on here? There's a little conversation between Carlton and Sanders. He turned the bat around and made the $sign mark. Well, you know, that would upset people, obviously.
And here comes the bullpen. I have no idea what started that thing off.
After the incident, Deion played out his contract with the Yankees. Then, in 1991, he left the club, signing a deal to play on a temporary game-to-game basis with the Atlanta Braves. Now, he was in Atlanta year-round, playing football for the Falcons and baseball for the Braves. 2 professional sports in the same city and the same stadium.
I got one thing to say. This is my house.
Deion's mix of athletic achievement and primetime personality paid dividends.
I ain't getting that. He get his own ball. Don't you got a football game to go to?
Besides his contracts with the Braves and Falcons, he began raking in millions from endorsement deals with companies like Nike.
Ho, ho, ho. I remember at one point, I would think I was on 5 commercials at a time.
Beep, beep.
It was lovely. It really was.
Prime time.
Life was wonderful. Life was great. Life was financially fantastic.
The more Deion was on display, the better he performed. By 1992, he led the league in interceptions, made the Pro Bowl, and was leading the Atlanta Falcons into the NFL playoffs.
He was incredible. They didn't throw in his direction. You know, he might have led the league in interceptions, but they didn't throw it over there that often because they were afraid of him.
That same summer, he batted over 300 and led the National League in triples, sparking the Atlanta Braves to the National League playoffs. It appeared as if Deion could do no wrong.
What time is it? Showtime, prime time. Okay. Deion starting that bench.
I think he relished the attention, and in a way, like so many athletes who relish attention, it began to fuel him, in a sense, and you develop either a rooting interest for him or against him.
He liked the media attention, and he learned how to play on it, you know, to use it to better himself. Sometimes it backfired because sometimes he looked very bad.
Deion, one little comment, we'll all leave.
I don't want to make a comment.
He polarizes people because he, for much of his career, has acted in a way that sane people find annoying.
Deion's act was wearing thin with sports journalists when in the fall of 1992, his baseball and football careers collided. It was the National League Championship Series, and Deion was attempting to make sports history by playing professional baseball and football games on the same day.
There have been reports that Deion is considering going to Miami this weekend with the Atlanta Falcons, playing against the Dolphins, and then chartering a plane to fly up to Pittsburgh in time for Game 5 on Sunday.
What he did was incredible. To be able to play 2 sports, period, at that high a level. To be a great, great football player and a pretty darn good baseball player simultaneously is tremendous.
Deion played a Sunday afternoon football game in Miami for the Falcons, then flew to Pittsburgh and played a Sunday night baseball game for the Braves. Renowned television baseball analyst Tim McCarver got Deion's attention when he shared his thoughts on Primetime's 2-sport schedule on national television.
I think Deion's doing a rather self-centered thing, Tim, going there tomorrow.
You know, there's been a lot of talk that he's a consummate team player for the Atlanta Braves. Well, and if he's that, how can he leave in the playoffs?
After McCarver's statement, the battle lines were drawn.
I think McCarver was out of line because it was clearly a personal attack. To me, that was a vindictive attack and tried to put it on the auspices of talking about what's good for the team because you don't know. You ain't on the team.
McCarver's criticism of Sanders, even if people disagree with it, is well within the range of what happens in a broadcast.
He didn't even know what he was talking about, and it was so crazy that he was talking how selfish my act was, and it should have been applauded because I wasn't even on the contract with the Braves at the time, and I was just coming over to help them. Who should have been upset was the Falcons.
When the Braves won the National League Championship a few days later, Deion got his revenge. As Tim McCarver conducted interviews in the Braves locker room, Deion made his own commentary, unloading a bucket of ice water on McCarver's head 3 different times.
Real man, Deion, I'll say that.
He needed to be cooled off a little bit. He needed to simmer down.
Sanders acted like a punk in that instance. And I thought that McCarver did well to restrain himself.
Deion was wrong when he did that. It's real simple. And it was just a very immature thing for him to do.
Deion should not have poured that water on him.
You are a real man, Deion, I'll say that.
After dousing McCarver with water, Deion cooled off with a cold shower of his own.
I put a chair in the shower, and I sat down and just let the water, and I was crying my heart out, just thinking that the criticism I took for doing the right thing because of one man's ego blew me away.
Deion's troubles were just beginning. Members of the media closed ranks around McCarver and took dead aim at prime time.
Dan, you talk a second? No, I'm playing. I want y'all to talk to the girls who won the game.
The press, who often found it difficult to get and keep interviews with Deion, now had a reason to lash back.
I think with him being inconsiderate a lot of times, he'll commit to do an interview sometime, and then he'll change his mind when they get there, and he won't do it.
Believe it or not, Deion is not speaking with the media here.
In a world where people confuse merely calling attention to yourself with style, where they confuse obnoxiousness with wit, that stuff flies. Some people haven't completely lost their minds yet, and so they sneer at that kind of stuff.
Across the country, fans soon lashed out at Deion as well. For years, Deion had courted the spotlight. Now, the glare was blinding.
You were always on camera, you was always in the spotlight, and you were always seen, and they thought they knew you.
Back up, people. Don't crowd him.
It was outside the game where you get pounded, you know, and he grew tired of the pounding from the media.
What Deion Sanders' appeal should be is remarkable, startling athletic ability.
He's off to the races. He's at the 50. He's at the 40. Kiss him goodbye, baby.
The appeal of this ridiculous, crass, neon Deion character is just a reflection of how mindless all the sports culture has become.
In 1994, hoping a change of scenery would take the heat off, Deion moved to San Francisco and signed with the 49ers.
I really wanted to win. I wanted to be associated with a winner because I wasn't used to losing, and Atlanta was trying to get me used to losing.
In San Francisco, Deion began to play with a fury fans and announcers had never seen before.
Deion, giving that whole field left hook. Did you see that? Great. That's a classic.
In 1995, Deion's intensity carried him and the 49ers to the top. During his first Super Bowl, Primetime had an interception, and the Niners destroyed the Chargers. But Deion's Super Bowl victory was an empty one. Deion's father, Daddy Buck, had died of a brain tumor and was not there to share in his son's greatest triumph.
The night we won the Super Bowl in San Francisco, I was the first one out of the locker room, the first one home, the first one to bed. And I said, it ain't what I thought it was. Yeah, I'm not even happy.
Coming up, Deion tries to end it all.
My attorney had prophesied that I would commit suicide.
And later, Primetime embarks on the path to salvation.
Now it's going to get tough because you're changing teams. You've been traded from the devil's team to God's team.
By Deion Sanders.
In 1995, Deion Sanders' move to the San Francisco 49ers had paid off. In his first season in the Bay Area, Deion won his first Super Bowl. But just months after the victory, Deion followed the money into Dallas, tying the knot with the Cowboys for football and the Cincinnati Reds for baseball. He also tied the knot with his longtime girlfriend, Carolyn, the mother of his two children, Deandra and Deion Jr. Deion surprised Carolyn with a wedding ring and a private ceremony during a vacation in Lake Tahoe. After nearly a decade together, the couple was still inseparable.
I went on all the road trips. The guys would get mad because I would be the only woman there. And they didn't like that, but he said, no, my baby's coming.
But Carolyn felt the couple's new move to Dallas was not good for their new marriage.
Everybody loves their Cowboys in Texas. When we got to Texas, the team was such a funny team because they didn't want the wives to do anything. They always had their girlfriends with them. Like when they went to the Super Bowl in Phoenix, the wives couldn't come until Thursday. And he said it wasn't what he wanted, but they took a vote in the locker room.
Dallas won the Super Bowl, but like the year before with San Francisco, for Deion Sanders, it was a hollow victory.
And he thought, well, maybe if I accomplish a little more, maybe if I do a little more, I can find this happiness. But it wasn't there with each accomplishment, and so it began to get a little hollow for him.
The more successful Deion became, the more he lived the lifestyle of his self-centered alter ego, Primetime.
Primetime, primetime.
Primetime.
With the help of his friend, rapper MC Hammer, Deion made an effort to break into the music business. Deion began traveling and touring as a rap singer, gaining a reputation as a womanizer.
You know, he did that rap album, going on tour, you know, doing little nightclubs. And I would ask him, well, Deion, why can't I go? But they had these dancers from the different strip clubs, and they were all on the bus together, you know, with Deion and doing, you know, I don't know what, but he didn't want me around.
My thing was fornication. My thing was having sex with many women. And, you know, I didn't discriminate.
That was his fetish, and of course, I'm not blind. It would be when the lights are out and the other one is either gone or asleep that all these things would occur.
He would call and say, hey, man, what you doing? I said, nothing. He said, but I'm taking a bath. And then he said, y'all say hi. I need a permission slip from Deion to tell y'all some of the things.
Like some men, the more women you can get, it's a challenge. It's a challenge to him. And it was always one woman after another.
Money is only going to make you more whom you really are. If you're a drunk, broke, you're going to be a drunk with money. If you're a drug addict with broke, you're going to be a drug addict with money. And if you're a whoremonger broke, you're going to be a whoremonger with money.
We had a beautiful relationship in the beginning. I mean, it was everything anybody would want, but we grew in different directions. And he wanted something else.
In 1997, Carolyn filed for divorce and gained custody of the children.
Deion, I believe, felt a mixture of guilt that he couldn't be the faithful husband that he wanted to be at that time.
Deion's failures as a husband and a father, combined with the recent death of his own father, Daddy Buck, sent him into a deep depression.
Seeing your children stripped away from you, then now you're going to thinking, okay, oh, now I'm going to be just like Daddy Buck. I'm going to be on the other side of town, and my kid's right here, but we're not together.
On May 28, 1997, while playing for the Cincinnati Reds, Deion says his depression turned suicidal. Deion's manager, Eugene Parker, was living in Indianapolis when he got a call from Deion in Cincinnati. Eugene got in his car and drove more than 100 miles to Deion's apartment. But when Eugene got there, instead of finding his friend, he says he discovered a suicide note.
I opened the envelope that was addressed to me, basically giving me his last wishes, how he wanted his funeral to go and where he wanted certain personal items to go.
Deion was heading north on a darkened Interstate 75 at the Ohio-Kentucky border. Deion pulled off the road, got out of his car, and thought about his final move. Then he stepped back inside, revved up his engine, and floored it, his Mercedes tumbling over an embankment.
I got to the bottom of that fall off and was still alive. And I'm like, Lord, you saved me. I'm still failing. I'm a failure at committing suicide. And that was something.
Coming up, Deion's moment of truth.
All of us have to go home once in a while and look in the mirror and say, man, do you like what you see? Are you happy with what you see?
You know, ever since I turned pro in 1989, when I signed the dotted line, it was strange. Some things changed for the better and for the worse.
10 years of living life in the fast lane had taken its toll on Deion Sanders. The death of his father, combined with the failure of his marriage and losing custody of his children, had pushed Deion Sanders over the edge. In May of 1997, Deion tried to kill himself. But 4 days after rolling his car over an embankment, Deion says his prayers for deliverance were answered.
It was really, really, really bright. I mean, the lightest white that you could think of, and it was windy, and the wind was just gusting through my room, and I can remember falling on my knees saying, Lord, if that's you, take me, take me. I felt like arms were just covering me, and the hands of God were just all around me.
Deion vowed to change his wild ways.
Then I went through a purging process, whereas everything that was not connected to the Lord, I asked him to shake my tree. And everything wasn't connected would soon fall off. Friends fell. Family members fell. Lifestyle fell. A lot of women fell.
One woman who stood tall was the new love in Deion's life, a model and actress named Pilar Biggers. Pilar shared Deion's faith in God and in his destiny.
It's like a triangle, so to speak. He and I are the two corners, the two opposite corners, and it's God that pulls us together right at the top. He's the glue to our relationship. He's our foundation.
This is my partner. This is my folk. This is my people. I'm talking Ebonics now. This is my loved one. This is my friend. He is also my wife.
On May 21st, 1999, Deion and Pilar were married in a small ceremony in the Bahamas by their mutual friend, Bishop Jakes. Since the wedding, Deion has forged a strong bond with his pastor.
It would be too late for Brother Deion to start now.
He would come to Bible class, and little by little, he would make the transitions, maybe stopping by my office for a few moments after church, or dropping by the house.
He's grown and matured so much as a man. I mean, it's just, if you can only imagine watching a child grow.
During counseling with Bishop Jakes, Deion began to separate the character called Primetime from the character within himself.
And it came to a point in his life that Primetime was slowly killing Deion Sanders. And I think it was important to him to reconcile the difference between being a personality and being a person.
Deion, the man, wrestled with what every true megastar wrestles with, and that is balancing the two worlds. When the lights go out and, you're at home, it's very difficult for those around you to relate to you outside of that which you have created for television.
You're dealing with an identity crisis. Deion has finally begun to separate from Primetime.
After a formal baptism at the hands of Bishop Jakes, Deion's faith grew stronger. He became eager to share the lessons of his experience with others. The pupil became the preacher.
Money was my drug. The more I made, the more I wanted. It was addiction.
I wanted to tell people the story because I know so many people go through what I've been through, or so many people want the things I had: power, money, and sex.
I thought all these things could fill my cup. But now, my cup runneth over.
His life is much fuller now. There's more to him than the field.
While the Primetime character has been left behind, the Primetime legacy remains intact. In the summer of 2000, an older, wiser Deion Sanders was making news again. He signed a $56 million contract with the Washington Redskins, a deal that acknowledges Deion's ability to draw and excite a crowd. But this time around, Deion says he no longer believes his own press. He's learned where Primetime ends and his real life begins.
I'm a peaceful man. Look at me. I'm serious. I have a good time. It's ironic that when you're unsaved, you wouldn't even think or fancy an idea that you could have more fun on this side of the fence.
In February of 2000, Deion's wife, Pilar, gave birth to a son named Shiloh. With a new family and a new game plan, Deion Sanders says he's finally found the kind of peace in life that money can't buy.
All of us have to go home once in a while and look in the mirror and say, man, do you like what you see? Are you happy with what you see?
He stepped up to the plate as being a man, as being the man of our house, as being the head of our household.
He's in that daily fight that all Christians have to live life right. You didn't like him then, and you don't like him now. You just hated him in the first place.
I don't care about the money. I don't care about the many accolades that I've received. I want to be known as a God-fearing Christian father. That's it.